Hello, neighbor. This is Robert J. Ray, president of the Organism Chapter 4, coming at you again with some more genuine truths. And this time I'm going to be talking about the philanthropy. For those of you who are not familiar with the word philanthropy, it's just that it's the desire to promote the welfare of others, especially by donations, which is money, time, your skill. And this is what a lot of our rich people are doing today, black and white. The latest philanthropy, which really raised some eyebrows, was Jeff Bezos donated $100 million to Van Jones charity. I don't know what the name of it is. I didn't really even know he had one. I know he was an advocate at the time. But what I want to point out is that you can't just give people money if they really don't know what to do with it, especially a lot of money like that. I don't have anything against Van Jones, but I just don't see him knowing how to deal with $100 million that came to him that soon, that quick. I don't even think he's dealt with any millions yet, outside of 100 million. So just let me share what this philanthropy is. Just like I say, it's a desire to give money away and to help, and it's supposed to create a better world. I don't know what Van Jones have in mind or how he's gonna create a better world, but the temptation is gonna be overwhelming. When you got $100 million that you can spend without any strings attached, and that's what Bezos told him, that hey, this $100 million is yours to use in any way you want to. Now, that said, Van Jones, if he is the highest paid individual in his charity, then his salary can be no more than $125,000 a year. I don't care how much money you take in. You can take, if you had $1 billion a year, if you're the top person to see where the money goes, you can only earn $125,000 a year. Look at that. Now here you're sitting on $100 million, and you can only take $125,000 out a year for your own use, for yourself and your family. Now that is hard to do it. That's going to be a lot of temptation for Van Jones. Not counting all the other charities and concerns that have gotten money from other large donations. I think Mackenzie, Bezos' wife, she's given some millions to some black colleges and some other, and 186 other. So I think she gave her about 50 or 60 billion dollars. Maybe not that much, but it was some billions. But the point I'm trying to make is that when you give this money to these people and you don't have any rules and regulations as to how the money should be spent and how much you should spend on this and how much you should spend on that, then you're just inviting corruption. People are going to steal. And it's been proven. I think Jeffrey Epstein, he committed suicide in jail. He was a sex abuser. He had given $7 million to MIT, which is a college. Probably didn't even need the money, but he gave it to them. And they ended up giving back because once they found out he was a sex abuser, a sex offender, they didn't want it. And a lot of these individuals that give this money, they got a lot of baggage. They've got a lot of criminal activity going on in their lifestyle. I know you heard of Madoff. You see what he did. He gave away a lot of money, but that money was illegally gotten, so it shouldn't have been given away. I know this Isles guy was a top guy at Fox TV. Come to find out, he was harassing all of the females, sex harassing all the females there. He was giving away a lot of money. And this Coke guy, he was some Coke brothers. They were billionaires. They was, I think himself was worth about $47 billion himself, and his brother worth probably just that much. He gave away a lot of money, but come to find out, he was doing a lot of finagling with the Internal Revenue Service. So it's just hard. And then Bill Cosby, he gave away a lot of money too. But all of the time, he was, doping females and sexually abusing them by drugging them. But the college took the money, which they probably didn't know he was doing this at the time. I wouldn't think they would do it. But you have to have some morals when you accept this money. If someone was going to give me money, I would want to know what's right. And then I need some money to get my process out to the people. Which I'm going to turn. My thing is I'm going to turn Black Americans into white Americans. And a lot of people say, "Well, how are you going to do that? Why should that Black Americans don't want to be white?" Well, they want what the white people have. They want all of the riches, the power, and the gain, and the glory that the white people have. So you would probably have to be like them. You would have to be white, and that's what I want to do with my process. If I can get some backers or somebody that really want to do something to make the United States a better place, then I should get some of that money. I don't need that much money. I could get along on $1 million and change the whole United States. I would eliminate the gangs, eliminate the crime, eliminate filling up the prison with Black individuals, because the more people that become white, the less people are going to be going in prison. The more Blacks that become white, the less individuals are going to be becoming gang members and criminals. The more Black people become white, the more harmony we're going to have between the races. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm not talking about changing the color of the skin like a lot of individuals try to do. That doesn't make you white just because you bleach your skin and you become white. Because a lot of foreigners that comes over, they're not white per se skin, but they become white people because they look and see how white people are living their dream over here and working and being successful, and they become white. The Chinese that come over here, they become white. The Japanese that come over here, they become white. And the people from the Middle East, the Armenians, the Arabs, people of brown skin, they come over, but they become white. That's because all of these individuals around here in Meridian, Mississippi, who are farmers and color and people of color, they have become white because they running all of the business. They running the convenience stores and the gas stations that used to be ran by white people who were successful at it. Now they're running it. Now, out of all of these stations that's around here that's being run by foreigners and people of color, but not American Black people of color. Why couldn't the Black American people of color did the same thing that the white man did and the same thing that these foreigners are doing? Because they don't have the expertise, they don't have the know-how, they don't have the rationale. But when I turn them into white people, then they'll be able to do anything that white people do. They'll be able to gain all of the riches and all of be able to buy all of the land and experience all of the rich toys that the white people have. They'll be able to experience these things if they become white. Now, this you would say, well, Ray, that ain't a good idea. Yes, it is a good idea because black people they want what the white people have. They want to be successful like the white people, and the only way you can do that is to become white. And what I mean by that is to become white up in here, in your mind, in your thinking, and in your behavior, and in your rationale. That's what I'm saying. And this is what my professional development process does. And this is what I want. This is why I need some of their philanthropy money. They've given so much of this money away over the years and years. And is America better? And all of this money was to go to make America a better place to live. But as you can look around, it hasn't done that. So where's all these millions and billions of dollars gone that these philanthropy people have given away? It surely haven't did what it was supposed to do, is make America a better place. It has actually made it worse if you really look into it, because it has made a lot of people thieves. It made a lot of people embezzlers. And once you get your hand on this money, you can corrupt so many other people with it. You can have them jumping through criminal hoops and infernal hoops and immoral hoops. You can have them jumping through that. But what I'm going to do, my process is going to take the millennials and the Generation X, the white millennials and the black Generation X and the white Generation X. Because these little white kids, they're smart. They know how to learn. They know how to go through school and graduate and go through college and they know how to go through the sports thing. A lot of them get scholarships. They go through college to get an education. Yeah, they don't be figuring on using their body like black Generation X and millennials do. If they're good in basketball and they're good in football and they're good in track and sport, they think that this body would take them all the way to the top. And 99% of them never get there. Either they fail in college and drop out, either they get, the body is so frail, it's so fragile, until you can't depend on it taking you up in the football world or the basketball world and have you to make your fortune. Sure, some of them are going to be there. Some of them are going to do it. But by and large, 99% are not going to make it. And now what do you do? But when white kids get scholarships and go to college, they get an education. They graduate. What is the first thing a black American does when he gets there and he gets in his sophomore year and he's at the top of his game? And then here come the agent around. So you can opt out here. You could be making more money out there and playing in the pro league than you'll ever make getting a degree out of the college. And they buy into that because they don't have the understanding and they haven't had the rationale put in their mind by somebody in their family, because their family members, they waiting too. They waiting on their part of the money that he'll make. But this is not how white people think. They don't think that. If they've got a great athlete in their family clan, yeah, sure, they want him to get to the pros if it's possible. But they want him to get an education first, because they understand that this pro sports thing is just a slavery. It's just a plantation. You can be up on top today, and you could be out of the game tomorrow, and they're not gonna give you any money if you can't play and you can't produce, and you are playing against the best in the world. And it won't be the same that where you playing in high school and college. In college, you were playing against other college kids, but once you get to the pros, you're playing against the best dog eat dog individuals in the sports field, and a lot of them can't cut the mustard. You won't be on first string then. You won't be the starting five. You won't be in the starting 11 in football. You may be sitting on the bench, and if you're sitting on the bench, you're not going to make as much money. And now your time is passing you by. The older you get, and you're not really playing and not making a name for yourself, and not making doing some great things. So when your next contract come up, then you can get a better deal, maybe $1 billion deal, a multi-million dollar contract, so you can maybe set up yourself. Then you're just wasting away. You're wasting away. Now you didn't get your degree, so when they really finally say, "Well, we let him go. He's not producing," and if another team don't pick you up, now you done wasted your time. You can't go back to college because it's hard to pick up where you left off at. So you're not going to be able to go back to college. So you didn't get your degree. You're out now out of the sports game because you couldn't play up to the par that you thought you were. And now you back out here, back in the neighborhood, trying to get a job at Walmart and things like that. But if I make these black millennials white and black generation X's white, then they'll understand that first get your degree, perfect your talent. If you're a singer, then you can perfect your singing while you going to college, while you getting a degree. If you go to the service, if you have been went through my professional development process and become white, then when you get into service, then you'll progress. You'll become a private first class, and the next thing you know, they'll be looking at you and say, "Hey, he's a go-getter." Then you'll be a corporal. Then the next thing you know, you'll be a sergeant, and then you'll go on up to the ladder in the military, and you'll get to the point where, hey, I'm making a lot of money here, and if I stay in here 20 years, then I'll get a check for the rest of my life that'll take care of me and my family. Then I can go out and do something else. After I get out here, I can go on to college on their money. See, this is the way white people think. Black people don't think like that. They think, hey, give me the money now. But the money's not going to last now. By the time you get through doling it out to your relatives, your poor relatives, then you're not going to really have anything left to live on. But if you become white, you're gonna be on the same level as they are. If you go to college on a scholarship, you're gonna stay there 4 years and you're gonna get your college degree. So whenever the sports fall apart, then you just go into your field and field that you was in. And then you'll still be making enough money to be wealthy and take care of your family and live the American dream. You won't be back down in the neighborhood talking about what you used to be and what a big shot you was once before. You're not gonna have to do that. But first you gotta start thinking like the white people think. And that's what my process does. It makes the black people think and reason and behave like white people. And it's nothing wrong with that. Black people. I know a lot of you gonna say, I don't want to be white, I want to be black, I want to be like my heritage. You don't have any heritage. You came out of slavery. You came out of the fields here in America. You don't have no heritage. Your heritage, which was an African heritage, was forced out of you, was beat out of you. So you don't have any heritage here. You don't have any culture. All your culture was given to you by the white race. That's what you got. If you call Juneteenth culture, okay, but you was freed from slavery. That's nothing. That's just a celebration day that you can Go out and celebrate with other black people that, hey, we was freed out of slavery. And that's okay to do that. You can keep that. But all of the people that come from here, another foreign country, they become white people. You look at them. You look at the Vietnamese. Now, they was over there in the Viet Cong. A lot of blacks went over there and died to try to free them from tyranny and get them their freedom and democracy. And got killed for it, got victimized for it, got on drugs, never recovered. When I was working at the prison, we had a lot of Vietnam veterans out there. Came back, they couldn't get a job, they was on drugs, they started doing a little criminal stuff. They ended up in prison. Now the Vietnamese that came over here, what did they do? They started opening up businesses. They started coming up with different ways to make money. And they copied the white people. And they became white. The Vietnamese, they just like white people. When you go in and you deal with them, they can write the playbook on being white. And just like the rest of them, the Chinese, the Japanese, all of these other people of color that came to this country and are living the American dream. But the black American people, they can't do it. They live in a nightmare. Living in the projects, stacked up on top of one another. Can't bring out all of them put together. Can't come up with one idea to make any money. They can't go together in part. Even the rich black people in America, they cannot come together and go in business together. They could put it. We got enough black athletes to put in $1 million a piece and create a whole new commerce. If somebody had an idea, original idea on how to make money. But you couldn't get 10 black athletes in a room without their egos coming in. And I'm the best. I'm the number one. I don't have to listen to that. So F you, F y'all. And that'll be the end of that. White people, they go in a room to start a business. They come out with their business started. Now they all gonna make money. Their families is gonna live wealthy and have money to buy all the material. But black Americans can't do that. You put them in a room, you supposed to have a killing in there. If anything, just look around. Just look around, you people. I'm not telling you to believe me. I'm just telling you to look at what really is. Look at America how it is. Look at black America. We had 3 murders in Marie, in this little city. In Marie, we don't have about 33,000 people here. About 33,000, and they're leaving quickly because of how messed up Marie is, how corrupt it is. And we had a little 5-year-old boy, laying on his couch watching the cartoon channel, just like all the rest of them. Some demonic black people. I can say that it wasn't no white people rolling by and shot in the house. I would bet the farm that it was some black individuals that did it. Shot him in the head 3 times. He's gone. Another one was shot because of jealousy. One guy was in the house with the female. The other guy came in. They got to arguing over the female, and one shot the other. And then there was another murder happened, and they don't have any idea what that was about. But he was murdered. 3 murders, and that was just in this weekend. And we had 1 or 2 weeks before. And this is what black people's is inherited: the ability to kill each other, the ability to hate each other. They've inherited that. because that was given to them by the Willie Lynch syndrome. Willie Lynch came over here and told the black slave owners how to divide and conquer his black slaves. And he said, if you put this process in place, it'll be in there 300 years later. And 300, that was in 1711 on the James River. And now, 300 and some years later, it's still in effect. Black people still hate each other. They'll kill each other at the drop of a hat over nothing. And that's why I want to make white people don't do it. You don't see white people killing each other like that. You don't see white people going around shooting in each other's house. You'll see they'll get jealous now. Every race will get jealous and kill somebody over a female that they're in love with. But that's normal. But all of this shooting in people's houses and the things that the black people do to each other, breaking in their houses. I used to explain the baobab tree to the little black guys that lived over here with me. When I see them getting in a feud or something, I would ask them, I say, what? I say, let me share something with you. I said, there's a big tree over in Africa. And I said, in this big tree, all different type of animals and birds live in that tree. And some of these birds and animals are fierce enemies toward each other. They would eat their young if they would catch them outside or anywhere else outside the tree. But as long as they are living in that tree, they don't bother. Can you imagine that black Americans, they don't even have enough rationale as animals have. Animals know not to mess with anybody that's where they're living at, because they can be retaliated on so easily. And they looked at me real strange, and I said, do you understand what I'm saying? And they just still looked at me. And I don't know if they did or not, because black kids, they haven't been taught anything to reason with. They don't have anything that they were born with to reason with. But if they let me, if somebody give me enough money to open up the organism chapter 4 outside in a building, then I can begin to start training more trainers, to do more training, and we can turn this black race into a white race. And they can be successful. Just think if we get these millennials and these Generation X's to behaving like white people do. Wouldn't that be something? That would be marvelous. And hey, and it is a really amazing sight to see black kids behaving rationally. And I've seen it. And I've got them like that. And I've even got the prisoners out there to start moving rational. That was even amazing to see. So this is my thing. All of that money is going to Van Jones, and I would be willing to say, after he spending $100 million, I bet the farm that hadn't anything changed. He hadn't changed anything. And if you want to really know what philanthropy is fake change. Now, get that word into your vocabulary. Philanthropy is fake change. Yeah, when a person say, "Oh, they done gave him $5 million." Oh, this is, and seeing these colleges that McKinsey and all of these, she gave all of this money away, some billions of dollars, 5 billion, 10 billion, whatever it was. It doesn't really matter. But she gave all of this money away, and she said, "I'm giving you this money, and I'm not asking you to explain how you're gonna spend it. You don't have to be accountable to me for it." Can you imagine that? people, you just can't give people money like that. That's corruption. Can you imagine all of the people that they're gonna corrupt with that money? How selfish they can be with that money. And this is what's gonna happen. All of this money, I bet if you all of this money that they're gonna be spending, say for the next 10 years, and you look back and say, is anything gotten any better? And I bet you'll find out that no, Van Jones done spent $50 million, and he can't point to any good that he's done. Because in order for you people to change, you have to put them through a changing process. I'm gonna give you an example, give you an analogy. When you take a kid out of college, out of high school, right out of high school, and put him in the military service, he could be a wimp when he goes in there. He could be a coward. But when they put him through this changing process, when they start running him every day and start having to do exercise every day and running the obstacle course every day and jumping over things every day and being in order back there in the barracks and having to get up at a certain time, having to get his bed made, and having to get his clothes in order, and everything's in order, and teach him how to shoot, and teaching them hand-to-hand combat, how to overcome an individual and how to kill an individual and make a kill out of him and send him into the war zone. You can say, well, that ain't the same wimp that went into high school there, is it? Say, yeah, that's the same wimp. That ain't the same coward that went through that we knew, is it? Say, he looked courageous. He ain't scared of nothing. See, that's because they went through a changing process. They actually did these things. They actually went through these exercises and they became these killers, these fearless men, like the SEAL Team 6. Just killers. They ain't afraid to go into nothing. But they was trained to do that. They just didn't wake up one morning, I'm a SEAL Team 6 person. No. And a black person is never going to wake up one morning and be rational. Now I woke up this morning. I think I'm gonna become rational. I'm gonna be a rational person. It doesn't work that way. You have to go through a rational process to make you rational. That's what my process does. I guess you look at me and say, well, what makes you rational, Ray? Well, I'll tell you a few things about me. I'm 75 years old. I don't have any illnesses whatsoever. I don't take any prescription drugs. I'm healthy. I had my neighbor, he checked all of my stuff. He got this $900 watch that can check every organ or everything in your body. His oxygen level was 96. Mine was 95. Now that's a 16-year-old. My oxygen level in my body is 1 degree from a 16-year-old. My heartbeat is strong. Mine was beating at but 60, 62 beats or 64 beats a minute, which is real good. And I don't even jog anymore. I used to jog years ago. But that was a rational thing to do. When I did that, I was rational then. That was a rational thing to do. To get your body in shape, get your heart in shape. My heart was in good shape. My intestines, it even take your intestines. They even tell how much vitamin C was in my body. And I take probably more vitamin C than anybody on the planet. I learned that from Dr. Linus Pauling, who was a vitamin C guy. You look him up. Linus Pauling. And told how much vitamin C was in my body. And then it said my bone density. It said my bone density is that of a 40-year-old man. You understand? 75 years old, and my bone is like a 40-year-old man. And I do. I work out on my Bowflex and things like that, and I don't have any arthritis and anything like that. And I use my money wisely. I don't buy anything that I don't really need. If I was rich, it would be hard for me to buy anything. And I would probably become a philanthropist myself. But it would be in a way that I could see the results of what my money was doing, which it would probably be opening up uh, teen centers and teaching them the process and things like this, so that this whole America can really gel and become one. Because the Japanese, Chinese, the Armenians, the Mexicans, even the Mexicans is becoming white. And they used to be in the same position that the blacks used to be in over here. They hung so many Mexicans over here just like they did. They lynched many Mexicans over here. And they lynched a lot of blacks over here. But the Mexicans now, they're over here, they become white. They running their businesses. They running the landscaping businesses. They running the roofing businesses. They running the restaurant businesses. And they have become white. And I know I'll get a lot of feedback saying, yeah, you want to turn the blacks into white. Yeah, I do. But it's the rational thing to do. Look at all the other races. They come over and they become white. You got to become white American. They own everything. They come up with everything. They own the land. They own the businesses. They do the hiring. See, the Mexicans, they can hire now. They hire their Mexican relatives and their friends and working there on their landscaping business. And they would probably hire some other races, but the other races are uncomfortable around Mexicans because they be talking Mexican talk and you can't talk Mexican talk. But if you would have took Spanish in school, and just about every black person had a chance to take Spanish. And if you would have had some rationale, you would have said that maybe the Spanish, if I take it, it might come in handy down the road somewhere. It may be a job that called for a person to speak Spanish. Yeah. Now, if you could speak Spanish, you could go in and get with these Mexicans, and then before you know it, they would probably set you up in a Mexican restaurant. But black people, they can't think like that. They don't see that. They sit back and wait for other races to give them a job. And this is the big downfall of the black American race. They don't have any thinkers. And they do have some thinkers, but when the thinkers would come up with things, then they would let in some kind of way a white man would take it from them. All of the talented black people that have been here in America. And I just think about a few in the entertainment field. Sam Cooke, Jackie Wilson. He was Jackie Wilson. Could nobody sing better than Jackie Wilson. I don't care where you go. Paparazzi and all them opera singers, they could not sing better than Jackie Wilson sang. But he didn't have the rationale to understand. Say, well, I can open my own. Come, I'll just wait. I'll make them an offer, and if they refuse, then I'll develop my own company and let my voice. Because they were Jackie Wilson. It wouldn't care who was sponsoring Jackie Wilson. Anywhere he went, the same people was gonna show up. He could have did that if he'd have had the rationale to do that. But he depended on a white man to take care of him. He depended on some Jews to and then when he come in and complain about his money, that the money he's singing and they making all his money and he's not getting a big enough piece of the pie. They would talk to me and say, well, we'll buy you a new Cadillac. And he would accept that. The white people are not going to give you blacks anything. If you got a talent, they'll use it. But now take these millennials like Jay-Z and Puffy and Snoop Dogg and Ice Cube. Those guys, and I can't forget the one that was that started out with Ice Cube in there. It was in their company. One of the main characters in the company. His name escaped me now, but y'all know who he is. These guys wouldn't take it. Even though they might have not had it right now, they could see the wrongdoingness in the entertainment, in their music industry, and they wouldn't take it. And I think Jay-Z said he was selling some of his CDs out of his trunk of his car until he was able to start his own studio and own company. See, that's what the millennials do. They're not gonna take it. And then the millennials that don't have the talent that the one I just named, then they taking it. They'll run in a jewelry store and they'll just take all the jewelry and run out of it. They'll run in the store and rob it and kill somebody in there if they get in the way. See, they are not taking it anymore, people. That's why we're gonna have to train these Generation X. I'll say I'm gonna have to train them to be white. Then once you become white, then you think like everybody else thinks. You think like all the rest of these people. You got the rationale to for your business to run your own business now. You can go to the top of your field now. If you got a talent, then you are able to exploit that talent. And this is what my process does for individuals. Organism chapter 4, it does those things. Individuals that go through this process. And I fix people, places, and things in the organism chapter 4. And if I can get enough funds for me to open up just one organism, then hey, I'm going to change this whole American system in the way it's ran here in America. And then by changing blacks into white Americans, then we'll all be in harmony. We truly will. I mean, let's just look at the way the blacks have been treated in this country from slavery time. It hasn't been an easy road to hope for the blacks. But you can't just put it all on the whites. You just can't blame them and any other race, because you got to do some things yourself. If you see that what you have, the mental capacity that you have ain't working, it's not getting you and your family and your generation to live like the whites are living. And that's the object. That should be every black person's object first. Yeah. First, the first thing in importance is to live a life so you can be in heaven after you die. That's the first and important. But the first in time is to be able to live like the white people live, to be able to be rich. Now, look how they live. The white people, they live so comfortable and rich in this world until they don't even want to die. They don't even want to go to heaven. They ain't thinking about heaven. They would just as soon continue to live like they live in it, like Donald Trump. He don't want to die. He would probably want to live like he lives continuously, on and on and on. But that's not gonna happen. He got a few more years left, and he gonna have to make his transit. He gonna have to check out of here. Now, You you think he gonna be living like he living over here now? No, he ain't gonna live like that. Nobody does. I don't care how much money you get. When you wake up over there, you just as naked as the next person. Don't nobody care how much money you had in this world, how much power you had. Now you got to start out in a different world. And the only thing that matters over there is your love and your faith. What you love and what kind of faith you got. Not how much money you had, how much power you had, how famous you were. Didn't count. So what I'm saying to the black race is, hey, try to be able to live like the white people. That would be your success. Become white in this world. And you'll see that you and your family, y'all will really start uh, enjoying this American society and enjoying the American dream like they do. Yeah. And that's what I'm anxious to share with the black millennials and the white millennials is how to become white. We're not gonna worry about the baby boomers. Their time is about up in this world because most of the baby boomers is about my age, and knowing that they didn't take care of themselves and they indulged in every type of addiction there was, their time is just about over in this world. If you're in your 60s and 70s, you don't have too much time. Just like I said in my critical race theory video, that soon all those baby boomers that's in Congress now, they'll be dying out. They're gonna die out. You give them 20 years, most of the old ones will be gone. Now we're getting the young ones there, like Cortez, that one female congressperson from New York City, and the other young females that got in Congress. They are the millennials, and I bet you right now that if you were to ask them if the vote came up on reparations for the black Americans to get paid for slavery, all of the 300 years of work they did, I bet you every one of them would vote for it. But the old millennial, the old baby boomers they got up in there now, no, they wouldn't vote for it. But they'll be out of there soon, and we'll have millennials and the Generation X's up in there. And then I don't have no doubt in my mind that they'll look at it, and once they seen how the blacks were treated and worked for nothing for all them years, they'll say, yeah, if anybody deserves money in these United States, it's these black people. It ain't gonna be no big deal because unless they learn how to use the money correctly, you can give them all $1 million. You can give every black American $1 million this Friday. Just say Friday. And I bet you in a year's time, all of those millions of dollars will be right back in the government's hand, or in the white man's hand, I say. Yeah. Because black people don't know how to spend money. They think material things, they think buying material things is what money is for. It is for that. But if you got millions of dollars and you got 5 or 10 cars sitting in your garage, then you don't know how to spend money. You just a selfish individual spending money on yourself. And money is a tool. You're supposed to use it to build things with, to get things done for the good of all. And especially for the infinite man. If he give you riches like that, he don't intend for you to sit back and spend it on yourself and just indulge yourself and your filthy pleasure. He intends for you to do something with that money that will affect a whole lot of people and give a lot of people a little more comfort and joy in, in this country and in this life. Well, I don't know how much more I can say to you, but to say that, hey, I want to change the white millennials, I say the black millennials, into the white millennials. I want to change the black generation X's into white generation X's. And the country's going to be much better off. You're going to see crime fading away. You're going to see the gang disappearing. You're going to see them closing down prisons as time goes on, as the old prisoners die out, because the black millennials and the black generation X's who become white, they're not going to be going to prison. They're going to be just like these other white kids. They're going to understand that ain't no way to have fun. It's in prison, and they're going to know how to stay out of prison. These little black guys, they don't understand how to stay out of prison. They think if they run in and rob somebody and they get away with it, so, but the little 35 or 40, $50 you got for robbing that store, it's not going to do you that much good. You'll be able to spend that before the sun go down, or before the sun comes up. Now, now you got a felony, and that's going to follow you. And your partners that help you rob that store, once they get caught doing some other crime, they're going to bargain you away. They're going to say, well, how much time did I get if I can tell you about that robbery down there at the convenience store? And then now you get caught. You didn't get caught, but you still going to have to do the time for it, and it's on your record now. See, when I turn these black millennials and black Generation X's into white millennials, black Generation X, they're going to know how to stay out of prison. They're not going to jail. They're not going to try to rob anybody. They're not going to be out there trying to sell drugs and try to manipulate the system. They're going to be going along just like the white millennials and Generation X. They're going to be exploiting their talents, learning the ways of America, learning the sciences, and becoming adept in the sciences, and learn how to make money in the sciences. And the prison is going to fall apart. But see, the white supremacists, they don't want me to do that. They don't want me, because see that they make their money off of putting blacks in prison. That's where they make it. They make their money off of misery of black people stacking them up on each other in these ghettos, these projects. They make their money on black people killing each other. So the white supremacists, no, they're not gonna send me any money to do that. But there's some others out there who are rich and who want to give and who want to do something good for this country. Let me turn the blacks into the whites, the black millennials into the white millennials, and the black generation X's into the white generation X, and see how better this country becomes. And this is what philanthropy is about. It's about making America a better place. And that's what would happen, because everyone would be enough. Do you ever see any Mexicans and whites into it? You don't hear any Mexicans talking about how the whites treat them or used to treat them. And they could say, hey, you hung a lot of our Mexican brothers. You list a lot of our Mexican brothers. You did a lot of evil and false things and murderous things to the Mexicans. But you never hear that. It's only from the blacks that bring up the lynching and the slavery and the Jim Crow area. Because they are still in it. We are still in that. Blacks are still slaves. They're slaves to the drugs. They're slaves to being the sports. They're slaves to the music business. You're still slaves. We're the only race that complains. And we've been over here hundreds of years longer than any of these other races. Every race that came over here in America got treated like trash. They did. The Irish, the Italians, all of them. The white Americans treated them like dirt. They stepped on their head. They kicked their ass. They beat them down. They wouldn't let them do anything. You live over here. You do what we tell you to do. You come to work. You take this job. And they did it. And they took the job. And they saw how the white men did. And they became white. And now the Irish, the Polish, the Jews, the Italians, the Vietnamese, the Chinese, the Japanese, all of these races of people have come over and made this their dream home, dream country. And they live in the American dream. But black people, they can't do it. They don't know how to do it. But if they go through this process, if somebody give you enough money to start this process out there, then they will know how to do it. And then we all be in harmony. You don't ever see Japanese and Chinese and Italians and all of them feuding with each other, because they can look at each other and say, hey, you came over here, you made it. I'm not mad at you. I'm not going to try to come in on you and rain on your parade, because I know the feeling. We had to experience the same thing. But it's no one on the planet who have gotten treated like the black race in America. And there's been some people that were treated bad. The Jews were treated bad over in Germany and Russia. They were treated real bad. They was victimized to no end. But they came out of that and they said never again. And now they become almost the abusers now, because they're doing the same thing that the Germans did to them. They're doing the same thing to the Palestinians over there. But they learned how to make it in America when they came. And all of us that were born over here in America, the blacks, we have so much trouble trying to make it. I see it every day. I look at people and I see them struggling, but it doesn't need to be that way. If you had any rationale in your family clan, then you can make it. There's been a lot of people, black people, that was mentored by white rational men, and they made it. They made it for their family. But just think of a whole black America of rational people. Wouldn't that be something? That would be a beautiful thing to see. And that would be the harmony that we would have. That would be the real America that the forefathers foreseen for this country. But it's just the blacks that's lagging behind and can't seem to get a handle on how to live in this country and how to live out their dream that they have for their family. Think about it. If you know anybody with a million or two laying around, they want to make this country great, they want to help their black race become rational thinking and rational behaving individuals and eliminate all this confusion and conflict that's going on, then you tell them, get in touch with the Organism Chapter 4, Robert J. Ray, and we'll get the program on the road. And we'll make the black millennials white, and make the black Generation X white, and we'll create harmony in these United States. That's all I have to share with you this time, and I'm anxious to move on.